Hi, the next tool I want to show you is Canva. I love Canva. I was introduced to it a couple years ago when I saw somebody made this amazing poster. I was like, how did you do that? So I actually have three accounts. I have one for my school, I have one for this school, and then I have one for my business. So I'm just going to log in here. And the first thing that pops up is all the ones that I've done already. But I can look at all of the designs that they have. So they show me what the popular ones are. These are actually the ones I've used before. Infographic is great for the presentation we have to do for this class. I can do social media posts. I can do documents. I made a really cute invitation one time to share online for a party we had at work. So there's all sorts of things. This site is actually free. Now, there are elements within everything that they have that you could pay for, but you don't have to. And I've actually never had a problem finding things that I love with having to pay. So I'm going to do a presentation. So the reason I choose presentation is because what I'm going to work on today is the my reading street, which is our reading program. And I want to make the focus wall question for every week. And so I want it to all be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a background. So all of these are free. It'll tell you what's free. If you looked here that there were tons of layouts, some of them are free, some of them aren't. And so you can tell which ones are, which ones aren't. And then it'll tell you as you're downloading or as you're trying to download it, it will say, hey, you need to pay for this. So it does tell you, so sometimes you have to go back and change the elements if you do make that mistake. But here I'm not even going to have to worry about it because I'm creating my own. So I'm going to find the background I like. So we'll say this one. I can actually click on it. I can do filter. I can make it transparent if I want to. I can delete it. I'm going to change the color to blue. I could also, if I click here, I can change it to a darker blue if I want to. So I'm going to go to my elements. They have photos that are free. They have illustrations. But my favorite thing is the shapes. So all of these shapes are free. So they have some really fun banners. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to move it around. It tells me when it's centered. I can change the color of this as well. So I'm going to make it a light gray right now. So now I go to text and I can add a heading. I can also choose some of the ones that they have. So I'm going to bring this over here and I'm going to edit it to say Unit R, Week 1. I don't like the colors, so I'm going to change that to black so it stands out, or I could also use that blue. That's probably better, so it brings that in. I can change the font. They have some really fun fonts, as well as fonts that I have on my own computer. Not really appropriate for kids who can't read very well. So I'm going to see if they have one of my favorites. We'll just use this one. Ooh, cabin sketch looked good, but that one looks great. So I'm going to move it where I want. Now I'm going to add a subheading. So I'm going to add the question. So the question this week is, what is around us at home? Obviously, this is super small and hard to see, so I'm going to change that color again. I'm going to change my font. I can move this around so that it fits in. It still looks pretty small to me. Oops. So I'll just Command A and select all of it. And I'll choose 56. So that's a little bit better. Maybe bring it down just a little bit. So now I have that set up in my setup. I'm going to move that element. So now I want to do the same thing. I want to use the same color scheme and everything that I have. So I'm just going to duplicate it, and there it is. So now I can change it to week 2 and change this one to who is in our family. And I can keep going. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to download it, and I can download it as a PDF. There's a bunch of other ones that I can do as well, but I'll download it as a PDF, and then it's going to be in my downloads. I can still edit this and change it however I want. And I can change the headline or the title if I want to too. I will say the one thing about this is that it gives you a new window. So I can just click out of this window if everything has saved. So it tells me that there's unsaved changes here. So I'll just save it. And now I can click out of it and then go back to another design. So I can look at my designs. And so here's what I did. So I want to make one more because I'm going to use it for my next presentation. And I'm just going to do, I'm going to do a presentation again, but this one's just going to be one page. So I'm going to, again, do my background. And I'll just do a light background here. I'm going to change the color, maybe make it really soft. And I'm going to do a headline, but I want it to be, I don't want it to be centered. And AEIOU. So this is a strategy that I learned from Discovery Education that I love to use. And make this big. And then I'm actually going to upload this to Seesaw, which I'll show next. But now I have a graphic organizer for my students that I'm downloading as, and I want this as a picture file because that is important when I take it to Seesaw next. So I'm going to change it to a JPEG and download it. So you can make tons of things on here. Your students could get on it too. I would probably have like a class account. It is free, and if you don't have any credit cards or anything in there, they can't buy anything, but they could get frustrated. So you would want to show them, how do you know if something is paid for, or how do you know if it's free? But I really just like using it in class because it helps me out make things visual and pretty for the students. So for this, I thought about T.1.A as the ISTE standard, which is modeling. So I'm showing them I'm using digital and technology to create what we use in class. I also used it as T.3.C about communicate the expectations. So those were my standards. I really love this, and I think you can use it in so many fun and interesting ways, and it will make you feel like a graphic designer as well.